Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of Alberto Big Boost. Today I will be installing the wide body kit on my BMW E36. I already have laid out here a Streetfighterla wide body kit. This one is 50 millimeters wider in the front and is 70 millimeters wider on the back. The wide body also has a rear ducktail wing. It has the extensions that go into the rear and on the front bumper as well to have clean body lines. I will also be installing stock M3 side skirts, which the wide body kit is meant to be installed with this. It already has the lines that hug this side skirt perfectly. This is the current state of my car. This is how it looks with stock body. I have an M3 bumper, no side skirts. I will have to also remove these things, which I have to use the M3 ones for this one, which are flatter and they're also wider. Meaning to install the body kit or start aligning the body kit in place, I will have to first remove these tabs from the body panel so I can start fitting the wide body in place and I can mark where I want it. Also, I need to install the side skirts on as well so I can line up the bottom too. Now I can begin to line up the front panel. What I'm looking for, I want to put it through the side skirt and then line it up with the fender line. It's right there, seems about pretty close. I just put this tape right here to hold it in place. Put another piece of tape on top. Now I can move with the front alignment. Gotta align it with the headlight. I'll put this here as well. That looks about right so far. Well, check out how much wider the front already starting to look like. There's like a huge gap on the wheel now. Like, it's like that much. Now it's time to see how the back fits. I'm gonna try to put that on now. For this installation, I will be using 3/16 Cleco pins. I got a 25 pack and the tool. These are very easy to use. I will demonstrate how to use this along the video, and hopefully this will allow me to install this a lot quicker and easier. One of my neighbors was cutting the lawn, so I couldn't film for a bit, so I still ended up keep doing more work on it. I still have another side to do anyway, so I'll show you the finished look on the rear quarter panel with the Cleco pins installed. This is what the back looks like so far. I'm using the Cleco fasteners that you literally press in and it releases on the other side. You can reuse this as many times you want, and it makes the installation a lot easier because you don't have to install it permanently, drill the rivets out, and then do it all over again. With this one, you just take on in and out how many times you want, and it makes it so much easier. Is this wide enough now? 70 millimeters on the back and 50 millimeters on the front. Now I have to start drilling the holes so I can install the Cleco fasteners in the front fender as well. I started by aligning the front fender where I want it over here. So I'm gonna go a little bit back and then right there. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna drill the first hole right in the corner and install my first fastener. Now I'll be taking one of the Cleco fasteners, put it on the tool, literally push like this and it pulls the pin, pushes the pin, and when it retracts, it spreads so it holds it locked in place. I'm just gonna put it over here like this, release, and it's done. Now I have a temporary rivet holding the panel in place. The front fender is now fully fitted. I still will need to cut right here for the other attachment, so probably have to cut up here like this into the bumper, so when the wheel is out more, it can steer in and not hit the bumper anymore. Then on the back, I'm gonna install the bumper arch now. So the piece that goes to the bumper, so it has a smooth body line transition into the quarter panel. This thing is ridiculously wide. I don't know what I'm gonna do now as far as wheel spacer. It's so big. I guess I'll try with a 60 mil first and see what happens. Here's my car again. Now it's full of holes for the rivets, and I removed the over fenders. I ended up painting the tires because it looks really cool. Now it looks like a real race car. Almost. And I drew the cut line pretty wrong, so I had to erase the whole thing. I'm supposed to do it pretty much like this, straight on this arch, then continue all the way down. Pretty much wherever the tire will hit, if it goes up from there, I have to cut it off and then weld it together so I don't have my panels separated. This is basically what I'm looking for. I want to start around here, cut the outside part, then cut a little part, and then the inside part will have to be cut and bend over back into the outside part and weld it together so it's a seamless fit, and then paint it so it doesn't rust. The time has come to make the first cut on my car. I'm gonna cut the outline that I traced out for the wheel on the wheel well. That way it allows for additional clearance for the wheel to go up and down, since the wheel's gonna be like all the way out here now. It needs room to be able to go up and down with the wide body kit on. Let's go. I cut all the excess off. Now I can start slicing in little sections and fold it over to make it flush against this other part. That way I can then tack them together. This is what I'm looking for. Now I have the trim cut. Now I can start tapping it and shaping into place like this. So you want to get it flush, that way you can weld it together. There. I have this side wheel arch done on the back. Now I have to move on to the front. So I'll first put in place a front fender and mark my line, and then see where I have to cut. As easy as that, I was able to put the fender in place so I can mock it up. Once I put the front bumper piece, you can see that there's a lot I'm gonna have to cut. Since the wheel's gonna be outwards more, it's gonna have a wider turning radius. That means I'm gonna have to mark all of this up right here and get rid of that material. This is how big my front wheel arch is going to be. I have to cut the front bumper, go up in the fender, and then back for added wheel clearance when turning. And now I got the front wheel arch completely cut off. Now I have clearance for the kit. Now with all of this material removed out of the way, I can properly fit the bumper part. And this is how it fits. You can see now there's nothing behind it. I may have to, if anything, I'm gonna have to check wheel clearance and see if this hits. But I'm holding my bumper together with this. If I cut this, I'm gonna have to do another hole farther back, which is not a problem, but let's see if I have issues with it or not. I ended up using a 35mm spacer instead. The 60 was way too big and it was hitting the wheel right here. So 35 it is for now. I put it at full lock. I don't have an angle mod yet, so this is my full lock right now. And it clears, so good. I'm excited. Now I have to probably start getting started on the other side. This is how it fits with a 35mm spacer. It's not perfectly flush, but it's pretty functional. I like it. I think I want to install the fender on the back as well and lower it and see what it looks like. Man, this is really starting to look really hot now. I'm really liking my car, especially after I painted the white lettering on the tire. It makes a really big difference too. Check out how good the body lines on this kit are. So most of the front bumper has smooth, like E30 M3 style wide body lines. Then you have to put the M3 side skirts to have like perfect fitment. Then it goes back again, has the same factory body lines. Then it comes over 70mm and it comes right back smooth body line, and it has the other end for the bumper to complete the look. Here's a side-by-side comparison. This is stock, and check out the difference with the white kit. Also the wheelbase now, look how fat the tires look, sticking out that much. It looks like a totally different car now. I ended up installing blocks, forged aluminum, 60mm wheel spacers. These are also hub-centric, and you can use them with a stock stud system on the car. That way, well, not stud bolts, but I'm using studs, which I'm using 70mm studs on mine. You can also appreciate the dual caliper install on this. I moved the car, only press the brake very slightly. That's why you can see there's not a perfectly formed brake line, but from the other day you can see that it's fully working. So the calipers are straight, don't worry about that. Then I got the BC Racing true coilover system with 4K springs, and then I got the Narptec upper and lower control arms. This also eliminates the whole arm thingy, and you can adjust toe with the upper control arm and camber with the bottom arm. Then in the front of the car, I'm using 35mm forged wheel spacers as well. These are also hub-centric, so the wheel fits snug and doesn't move around. And then I got the BC Racing BR coilovers as well, and I'm using an 8K spring in the front. And as you can see over here through the wheel wear, you can see my Turbo by Garrett GTX 3582R Generation 2 Turbo, which is the best sounding turbo ever. I ended up cutting the passenger side wheel well. So this one is done. It's all ready to be welded. I'll probably have to go to Adam's house tomorrow and tack weld this in place. Then I got the front is also all cut up. It's like not as pretty, but I still gotta grind it down and even it out. It was a rough cut. I kept having problems with the disc. But it's all done. Oh, I also cut where I was holding the bumper, so I'm gonna have to do a new hole so I can zip tie the bumper on. I ended up using a few pieces of tape and it's held in place. Make sure you align the gas cap so it opens and closes properly, and then you just have to put this pretty much flush back here. Then you put it flush with the door trim, and then I'm gonna make my first pilot hole and put a rivet in it. I've got 2 pins holding the panel in place. At this time I can now remove the tape and continue installing the pins on. Again, I'm using this cool Cleco pins. They're a lifesaver. I ran out of battery for the drill, so I couldn't keep doing holes on the Widebody kit. I'm waiting for that to charge, and hopefully I'll still have a little bit of light left. I'm gonna go get something to eat and be right back. If I don't get any charge in the drill, I'm gonna have to just finish the video tomorrow. I'm trying to do daily videos for you guys, but if I got no power, I can't keep working. I went ahead and lowered the car before leaving, and this is what it's looking now. Super giant hole in the fender, and then this one is already in there. Just gotta put more rivets on and then put the rear bumper cover part. Back with daylight today, I ended up securing the fender because it was loose, and I put a zip tie to hold this thing and then another one to hold the bumper in place. So it's all secured now, and now I can start mocking up the front fender in place. I mocked it up with 3 pieces of tape. Now I can start doing the guide pins and get this thing installed. It's very easy. All you need to do is just to line up the trim line over here, get this corner over here, make sure it's flush with the fender, and then you line up the corner light over here and make sure this is like where it needs to go, and then that's it. The rear and front fenders are both installed. Now I need to install the trim piece that goes on the front bumper like this. Front part of the bumper on the passenger side's on. Now you can see a whole wide front fender kit. Check out how cool that car looks now. Super wide. I'm really excited to just go drive this car down the road today and see what it feels like, or what people will say it looks like. I run into a problem that I only have 2 Cleco pins left. That means I'm going to have to remove some from the other fenders so I can install the last piece on the back bumper. Or at this time I can probably start putting in regular rivets on, since I want to take it for a spin. I will not do it with the Cleco pins. I can always just use some rivets and then take them back off later. The front fender is fully installed now with rivets, so it's a permanent mount for now, since I'm gonna be probably taking it off next week to wrap it after dyno. And I also went ahead and installed the wheel spacers with red thread locker on it. That way it doesn't come off. So I put red thread locker on the bolts, and then I put red thread locker on the studs as well. At this point I will not be installing the side skirt yet, because I need to wrap them before final install. And I'm afraid if I put them on with the plastic clips that hold them in place, they might break when I take them off. So I want to make sure I put them in one time, and that way I don't risk breaking the clips, since I don't have any more for them. I'm going to need to do the same thing on the rear fender. I only have about 3 Cleco pins on, so I'm going to start adding some rivets and then make a permanent install out of this as well. And then I'm gonna move on to installing the rear trim, and that will be the last piece of the kit. Rear over fender is installed permanently too, so pretty solid. I like this. I really like the quality of this kit because it's very stiff. So that way if you hit cones and stuff at the truck, it won't like just break apart easily. The passenger side is fully installed. You can see this is really looking awesome now. Gotta get some like side shots. This is not necessarily the permanent height that I will be using on my car right now. I have it so it doesn't hit when I get it on the dyno. So after getting the car dyno, I might lower it a little bit more, especially the back. Also, since I have a stroker high travel suspension on the back, I need to have a lot more wheel clearance. That way, when the car squats down, it doesn't rub or bottom out. After 2 days working on the body kit, it is finally done, and this is what it looks like. Full wide-bodied E36, thanks to Streetfighterla. It's been a pleasure working with you guys, and I'm looking forward on drifting with this car now more than ever. Look at the back. The back is just so wide. You can tell by the distance from the gas cap. It's 70 millimeters wider on the back and 50 in the front. Just super wide right now. I love it. I ran out of rivets, so I'm gonna have to go to the hardware store and get more so I can put the last rivets on the missing holes. White body is fully installed now. I got all the rivets back in. Just came back from the hardware store. And this thing is looking sick. I'm gonna show you guys the other side. I guess now the next thing I should do with the car is to wash it. Today has finally come to an end. It's time to close the video. I hope you guys like the installation. I can't wait to wrap this thing to see what it's really gonna look like. And also I need to wash it before I do that. Hopefully later today I can go to the racetrack because it's a cool sport compact challenge, I think it is called, that's happening at the dragway 10 minutes from my house. So I'm gonna go check that out, but before that I gotta go edit this video so I can have you guys with this awesome install video. I'll see you guys tomorrow.